This is KION News Channel 546 at 6.
Good evening. Tonight we are honoring the victims of the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting exactly 1 year after the tragedy devastated that community. Lost were the lives of 6-year-old Stephen Romero, who was playing at an inflatable bounce house. 13-year-old Kayla Salazar, who would have celebrated her 14th birthday less than a week later after that shooting, and 25-year-old Trevor Irby, a recent college graduate who was enjoying the festival with his girlfriend. Tonight, we remember and we honor their lives. Thanks for joining us tonight for our special coverage. I'm Veronica Macias. 1 year ago, on the last night of the 2019 Garlic Festival, the lives of several families changed forever now. A gunman cut a hole into the fence to access the festival at the Christmas Hill Park and opened fire just before 6 p.m., killing 3 and injuring more than a dozen others. He then pulled the trigger on himself when police began firing back. Tonight, we have live team coverage for you. KION anchors Aaron Gruff and Alicia Machado joining us now from Christmas Hill Park. And I'm sure this is probably a very tough day for the families of those victims and people who were just there, Aaron.
Yeah, Veronica, this memorial was just wrapped up behind me here at Christmas Hill Park, actually just about the location where the shooting happened a year ago. Here today are the families of many of the victims of this attack. Earlier we saw the family of Kayla Salazar, for example, walk through holding a big picture with their beautiful face on there, so everyone remembering these victims today. Another thing that we had today was honoring the officers and the civilian heroes who stepped forward. An amazing thing that we heard from the DA about these officers, for example, is how they rushed that shooter with just a handgun, and within a minute were able to put this whole thing to rest, saying how they stopped so much more tragedy by these heroic actions. They also described a veteran who had not heard gunfire since he left serving in our military and then at the Garlic Festival when those shots fired. They said that he told a story about jumping on the first child he could find to try to save their life in that tragic shooting. But I do want to jump now to where we are today. Of course, here 1 year later, a flag being raised, Gilroy strong here at Christmas Hill Park. The mayor spoke about a community helping each other heal in a way that only Gilroy can. And so many people across Gilroy came together in the last year in such incredible ways. So I want to bring in Alicia Machado with me now. And Alicia, you spoke with a lot of these people today, sharing stories about what it's been like the last year and how they're moving forward after the shooting.
That's right. It was such a scary day, but in this past year, they've really worked together in order to heal, standing together, sharing memories. And today I've spoken with several family members of Kayla Salazar as they have to relive this day, but also remember her young life lost, as well as those 2 other young lives as well. And so today people are just standing together as they continue to do Gilroy Strong.
It means strength to me. That's what it means to me, strength. Because with Gilroy Strong, we can get through anything.
A flag waves in Gilroy 1 year after the unimaginable, a mass shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival. Today, the community honors the victim. 3 young lives taken too soon and more than a dozen others injured. Councilmember Fred Tovar was there the day of the shooting.
Just sort of seeing what happened that weekend was pretty traumatic for a lot of people.
But what stands out most to him and others was the way the community came together in the days to follow, bringing food to first responders, standing together at vigils, and raising money for the families of the victims and community. $1.9 million in total. For many of those that jumped into action, this issue hits close to home.
You know, I went to Gilroy High. I grew up here. This is very, very close to our family. Gilroy Festival in general.
Travis Graham made T-shirts to raise money. Raj made hundreds of pizzas for first responders.
A year later, it seems like it hasn't stopped. you know, where every day or every weekend you see people doing something in remembrance of the victims, in remembrance of the family members.
All to honor the victims and help the community heal. 13-year-old Kayla Salazar was killed in the shooting. It was too difficult for her family to speak with us on camera, but her grandmother tells me Kelita, as she called her, was a talented artist and had a big heart. Her last drawing, an angel now watching over them. Kayla's grandmother shared this message to honor Kayla with us. Quote, God made you our guardian angel, but your love, purity, strength, and courage to face difficulties will remain in each of us. A memory that will live on in the community for years to come. Standing together, Gilroy strong.
Kayla leaves behind her family, including her 2 young sisters. They're actually here right now at the memorial. You can see them behind me holding up signs in her memory. And they shared a few different memories with me about her. They say the 13-year-old was supportive and friendly, creative. Like I said, she was an artist who loved to draw. And they also remember her big heart and her big hugs as well, something that will live behind with them. Now, they do say that they hope that they can continue on in her memory and can continue to live like her and share her life and her memory with other people as well. It's so amazing to see how these families have just come together, been able to grieve, but also to look at the positive. Her family told me they know that she is watching down on them from heaven, and that's just one of those things that really sticks with you about this community, about the strength of these people here.
Yeah, we've seen the families so close since this tragedy happened, and they're here today to honor the loss of their loved one. When we speak about moving forward, there was hope that we would have a Gilroy Garlic Festival this year to celebrate 2020, but of course the pandemic meant that couldn't happen. So in my conversation with Gilroy Police Chief Scott Smithy, we spoke about how hard it's going to be that it wasn't going to happen, and then how this would have been such a big step towards moving forward. This is what he told me in our conversation. Listen.
I think that would have been a very positive step towards healing for the whole community, to be able to get back out there and have a positive experience. So it's hard.
Now, I did ask about security for the next Garlic Festival. Are there any changes being made in the wake of what happened last year? He said he couldn't really get into that information. Of course, all of that information is still very sensitive. As for the investigation by the FBI, the investigation is still underway. FBI San Francisco officials say as of now, they do not have an update for us. They're referring to the Garlic Festival shooting as a, quote, ongoing investigation. They're also still trying to determine a clear motive from the shooter regarding what happened. There were the talks of everything that happened on social media and things like that, and what sort of ideologies might have been behind it all, but still no clear motive mentioned. Alicia, you and I both there that day and in the following week. What sticks out to you in the last year?
I think the thing that sticks out to me really is just the strength of this community and the way that they stood up, took a call to action, and put their own emotions aside after processing this shock, and then just poured their souls into the community, into helping. Yeah. It's just an amazing sight to see so many people caring for each other, especially nowadays.
Yeah, think about this every day, to be honest. My wife and I were both there at the festival as attendees, and then later both as reporters, rushing back, driving back later, wiping away tears, trying to make sense of what happened that day. But then being there for the next week and afterwards, seeing everyone come together again, just about $2 million raised for the victims of this shooting. It is amazing what they say. Gilroy Strong is as real of a slogan as you're ever going to get. And again, just there, the memorial that you see in the distance with the 3 names there, it's a tribute that's going to be here forever. I do want to mention medals of honor given to the 3 officers who charged the shooter, and scholarships are named in their honor moving forward.
There's also some more events going on, hopefully planned for next year, in order to continue to pour into this community, Aaron.
Back to you, Veronica.